Good morning, Aladino.
Hello, I'm Aladino, and together with my wife Maya, we are refitting a Cape George Cutter 36. In last week's episode, we painted the bulkheads, yoo-hoo! And we did some work to the perimeter of the cabin sides, and we also fitted our new chart table.
Wrestling with the bones beneath your skin, show love.
Our chart table used to be an icebox. Our friend Ken helped us build drawers into it, and it's now going to be a much better usable space.
It's up to you what you want to do. Yeah. You could oversize the whole.
This week we're going to continue working on the interior. So now that we have the chart table back and it is in place, I'm able to continue with the quarter berth seat. We had an initial version, but I've changed it up. That's the danger of doing things too early. So now I've used the other corner post that we made when we were at Ken's place. And this is an old part that I made, which we can fit. And this is a new one because we've extended it lower than it was before. Here I've taken a Forstner bit to it, just to get this interior corner a bit lower, so that we can fit in the board here. And hopefully this is enough to hold the cushion in place. And now what I've left to do before installing it in place is I'm adding 2 more cleats here, which is easier down here on the table. One here and one here to hold things in place. Alright, let's go up there and see how it fits. Piece by piece, look at this.
It's really all coming together now.
One cleat is getting in the way of the other one, so I have to go down there and make a little cut. It is very common for things not to fit on the first try, so you install it or try to at least mark again, take off a little more, and try again to slowly get it in place. Alright, hopefully now it fits. Yeah, nice. Yeah, we've changed the design here a little bit. And we didn't mean to use a white panel here, but we're running out of offcuts. So this is one we had still with a paint sample on it.
Yay!
So we will be harassing sponsors from.
So this whole galley area is really starting to come along. Basically all of the pieces, the rough frameworks are now in place. And of course there's still a lot of finishing work to do and installation of appliances, but like we're starting to see what it's actually going to look like, and we can move around it and see what it's going to be like to, yeah, just exist in the space and imagine how it all feels.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
It's actually dangerous that we're starting to relax a little bit.
I don't feel very relaxed.
Oh, okay.
In what sense are we relaxed?
Oh, I'm like, it's almost done now. I can take a break.
But that wouldn't be bad for you sometimes, you know.
No, not good.
Look at what we just got delivered.
Big package. So it's something that keeps us going. It's something big, heavy, and expensive.
I think
those are the clues.
I think we've already mentioned what it is.
And it's not an engine.
And it's not an engine.
sponsored. Everybody needs to eat though.
No, it's not sponsored.
Sponsored by our patrons. Thank you to our
Yes,
patrons.
thank you,
I
patrons.
think that's where the thanks go.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yes, true. Ooh.
Oh.
It's a good size. It's not minuscule, but it's not huge.
Yeah.
I actually really like it.
Yeah, this one is really the one that will do most of the action, the big one, and that one's basically for coffee. I like that the grid is actually tight enough for our little espresso maker. Well, that's the important thing.
Of course. And it looks like it will be easy to clean because you
Yeah.
just lift it up and wipe underneath. That's awesome.
Yeah, those are the things I looked into.
Yeah. Good choice, Amore.
Yay.
Aladino did all the research for the stove, so thank you, Aladino.
You're welcome. Well, I did a lot of research, and there is one big flaw with this stove,
What?
which can be fixed though, but it takes time and money and is annoying like everything. I wonder if they've updated it since, but they're actually the part that holds it in place is really not up to the task.
Oh.
Oh no, they supplied with the new ones now.
Oh.
The 2.0 version, so that's great to hear. They have learned from their mistakes.
Wait, so what was the previous problem and how did they fix it? I'm curious
So
now.
the previous way that the stove was held in place, it was basically a thin plate, and it just had a little bend in it, so you could clip it into place, but then that little bendy clip latched on, so you couldn't pull it up anymore. Like you would have to press it to get it off. But the thing is, it was really thin plate, which eventually shears on this, because this is constantly moving, and then it was just not strong enough, and your stove could break loose, and that's really hazardous. I mean,
Yeah.
people have gotten seriously injured with one of these flying away in the cabin in rough seas.
Yeah.
Force
Yeah.
10 now makes a new version which has a bigger surface, and it is a little more, definitely more secure.
All right. Good to know.
Cool. So that's, I'm happy about that. I don't have to fiddle around and do one myself. Did you know this?
What?
This one slides out of the way, the door.
Ooh. Fancy.
So we can bake with the oven open, but no door in the way.
Great. What a That's awesome, babe. I think we should just pick it up, Deanie. I don't think it can be that heavy.
No, it's not.
This pallet isn't going to fit through the door. And we can't open the door anymore because the boat's in the way. Do you want help or do you want to give it a go? Oh my gosh.
It's really cool to have an oven for the first time ever, so we want to experiment with that. So that's pretty cool. Good morning. Another day in the workshop. It's pretty cold and bad weather. That's why I have the door closed, and that's what makes it a bit darker in here as well. The lighting situation is not the best. So I think today I will actually focus on the interior. What is missing is the top of the backrests. So I think I will make that today. And this white piece of plywood laying over the bridge deck right now, that is one of the original tops of the backrests. So I'm gonna test it, take it off here, put it in place, see how it fits. If the hull hasn't changed too much with our insulation repairs and our re-fiberglassing of everything, things should have stayed fairly similar. So if it fits, then that's great, because then I can just trace it out on a new piece of plywood and make our new one. I'm also doing this today because it's an editing day for Maya, and she gets more frustrated than I do when we don't have things to walk on. So now that we have a floor in the head again, we have a floor in the galley, I am removing the floor on the bridge deck here, which of course makes things always trickier and more annoying. If it all goes smooth, I can put the bridge deck back on later today. I also gotta be extra careful with the freshly painted bulkheads. Not fresh, but I mean it is brand new paint on there and it's looking really good. So here it is. It actually fits pretty nicely. One thing is that the top of the backrest protrudes a little bit from the backrest, and that is to make a bigger bookshelf. It's not uncomfortable in terms of being in your back because the cushions are pretty thick. If I remember correctly, it actually holds in the cushions a little bit. So I may want to keep that detail. This is pretty nice. And these cushions are so beautiful. I really love this lip here, the raised lip. And the backrests, not only the plywood is slanted, but also the foam. Wow, a little glimpse into the future. Which I think that's pretty nice how they are at the moment. And I'm gonna use this one as a template. Yep. Cutting out the tops of the backrests was fairly easy. I had one of the old ones that still fit in place, so I could just trace it out on a new piece of plywood and actually cut out both sides out of that same template because it was the same on both sides. Alright, the tops are made, but before I bring them in, I need something to support them. So now I'm gonna build a bit of the framework. We've actually changed this side from how the original was, and that is because we want to have one long storage compartment for long items like oars, the dinghy masts and fishing rods and spear guns and that kind of thing. So this actually fully opens and swings open like this, which does make the framework a little more challenging though, because obviously I don't want to have things in the way here of partitions or dividers. This is for sure one part that we're going to add, and that's going to be screwed into the top.
Sunshine is cutting through the darkest of blinds. Just fell asleep when with the time. I try my hardest to fill in the space that is you. Clothes from the closet, spill to the moon. Half red boots that I won't finish soon. I finally sit again, and I soak in the quiet.
The more challenging part was to come up with a way on how to support that top, especially on the port side. Books are pretty heavy, so I had to come up with something strong enough to support their weight. Ultimately, I decided to cut out 2 knees to support the load and to tab it all in place. The knees would fit tightly against the top and the hull, so we would still leave the storage for the long items relatively free. There's already a surprise back here. I decided to have a little bit of fun with them. Careful, there is no deck.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you just have to balance yourself a little bit. They're not held by thin air anymore. They're a little more supported.
Ooh! That's fancy.
Isn't that nice?
What's that for?
Fishing rod holders.
Really?
Well, mostly it's a knee. It's 2 knees to support a heavy bookshelf.
Right.
Because that plywood with only that little cleat would still sag.
Totally.
But I thought, why not make it fun?
Oh, that's super fun. Nice. How many fishing rods are you planning on having?
Well, that's only the first 3. The other 5 will go somewhere else.
And what about my violin and my guitar? Where do those go?
Somewhere. I don't know where yet, but they will go somewhere.
Oh, that's super cool though, Aladino. It looks great. Oh, things are starting to come together, and I'm starting to see this as the home it's going to be. It's going to contain all of the things that we love, and it's going to be our entire life. So it has to, I don't know, it has to feel cozy and nice. And to me, that's just as important as anything else.
Totally.
And we're getting there. I'm starting to see that happen. That's very exciting. Something that I have been working on the past few days, which I actually didn't film, is getting this area sort of ready for additional varnish and paint. The plan is to varnish this teak trim, but all of the teak on this boat was treated with this reddish stain, which is not terrible, but it is really like, it muddies the grain and you don't really like see the luster of the wood, and so we did want to change that. So this piece especially I think is quite like a showpiece in the boat. It's this beautiful piece of large teak, and I've already gone around to the rest of the boat and removed that stain, but I hadn't done it here, so now that's done. I'm also getting started on sanding the ceiling in the head, which is a horrible job, I hate it, but it has to be done because the paint that was used previously on this boat is just flaking off, and that's why we redid the paint everywhere. But doing the paint above and sanding in between all these beautiful beams is really slow going and really hard work. So I don't know if it's a priority for right now, but in the head where there will be more moisture, we are making it a bit of a priority just because we want this to be properly sealed. I guess one of the dilemmas we're facing is I'm not the skilled boat builder, obviously, between the two of us, and learning takes a lot of time, and time is the thing that we don't have a lot of. So it does make sense, and what we've been doing for most of this refit is I just do kind of the grunt work stuff, sanding, priming, painting, because to have Aladino teach me things not only takes his time away from him where he could be working on the boat, but it also of course takes me time to actually learn that skill. So as we move more in towards like finishing work and more intricate fiberglassing jobs and woodworking jobs, I'm sort of like on a day-to-day feeling a little bit less and less sure of how I'm spending my hours. So something like this, even though it's not a priority, it is something I can do, and so I might just end up doing that so that we don't have to do it in the future. But yeah, I don't know, it's a tough one. Like, yeah, I'm not a boat builder, nor do I want to be, and I'm excited for the day where I don't have to be anymore. But in the meantime, just trying to find jobs that work. So this, of course, is the quarter berth, and this is actually where our battery storage is probably gonna go. Down here, Aladino has made some little cleats, and there's gonna be a tiny little floor piece that sits on there. So I'm gonna make a template for that floor piece. And then also in here, this is sort of the chart table bench or seat. Again, it needs a little floor piece. And then right here is the foot rest for when you're sitting at the chart table, or yeah. So 3 little templates to make to get this moving on some more. All right, here are some more ugly templates. Template 1, template 2. Actually, this one's not bad. This one looks like a pretty decently constructed template. Template 3, this one looks a little more haphazard. It's a bit hard to express nuance on the internet, and it's maybe silly to even try, but I'm going to anyway. This project has really torn my heart in different directions. On one hand, I feel so fortunate for the chance to do this, and I'm so excited about the future that this boat holds for us. And that's why I keep going. This dream is a powerful one, and I'm certainly not going to waste this opportunity. On the other hand, I'm absolutely exhausted, and I've spent a lot of time questioning the overall wisdom of taking on a refit like this. The thing is, there's no one-size-fits-all solution for an ideal life. For some people, the pursuit of boat building is the ultimate expression of craftsmanship and purpose and joy. I think Aladino fits into this category. His days and his nights are filled with images of beautiful boats and the creative ways in which they're built. I am a different person, and for me this project has actually meant stepping away from a lot of the things that bring me joy. My violin sits forgotten, my plans to write a book have been discarded below a long to-do list of sanding and fairing and sanding and fairing and sanding and fairing. So this boat really is a dichotomy for me. It is a labor of love, and yet it's also a lot of labor that has torn me away from the things that I love. I have done a lot of thinking, perhaps too much, on what this means and how I should move forward. Ultimately, I have decided that, of course, the comparatively short-term sacrifice is worth it for the long-term goals. I have also realized that in the future, given the opportunity, we will try really hard to structure our lives better so that both Aladino and I can find fulfillment in our work. Fortunately, I think that once the boat is done, that will be achieved fairly effortlessly as we return to a routine of sailing and filmmaking and regular boat maintenance. And in the meantime, I just have to keep going, focus on the positive, try not to burn out, and remind myself that my passions will return once this boat is finally out of the shed. So, it's a new day. I started late today, but that was nice. So, this is the chart table booth. It's kind of fun to get to sit here and feel how it's actually going to feel with the footrest and everything. Feels really good. I feel like I've got a good angle on my legs. I feel like this is going to be at a nice height. We're going to work out some sort of backrest situation at some point here, but that's a future thought. But this is all coming along. So, yeah, yesterday I made the templates and these little pieces. That didn't necessarily go super smoothly, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna just do my best without making myself go crazy, and that's just what I've been trying to do throughout this whole refit. So I can only do what I can do. I have improved a lot since the beginning. I'm doing it and I'm getting there, and this is not easy, but you guys know that.